you are a pistachio and cherry cake. Baby dolls, have a look at this. Most coins that are still not at their May 2022 prices today, they're going to have a much lower price target for the bull market. You just have to accept it. Now, we already planned for this. Luckily for you, you got a friend like me wearing a Pokemon hat telling you to buy in the depression. Now, many coins are like that. If you notice, of course, friends, one of the main things that comes to your mind, for example, ChainLink has broken that zone and gone to $20. I can show you it right now. And when it comes to ChainLink doing that, not other coins have been able to replicate its success. ChainLink, this is where its May 2022 price zone was. Okay, so May 2022, it is around here. See this $9.50, May, March. That's what he's talking about, this collapse price here. So this is the full ChainLink chart. So ChainLink went all the way around to March 2022. So this is really important. Coins that have not been able to conquer it, their target is ultimately lower, most likely. Now, I know one thing that comes to my mind when looking at it, for example, is Hex. Now, with PulseChain and PulseX, remember that there's ratios and stuff to actually think about. But for Hex, I mean, when you're looking at the price, I'm going to show it to you right now. If you look at the combined Hex price, you can't tell anything. So what you just have to do is look at the Hex and imagine that you're looking at the full price chart, which is it right now. So if we go to where we were in May 20, so this is what they're talking about, okay? Hex should be 10 to 15 cents. So once again, you know, friends, I want to play for you some nice little actual gentle pump music. We already went through this. We saw this. Now, this is not me talking. This is the chart talking. The chart said the value got diluted. The chart said that Pulse and PulseX sucked out value from Hex and made everything less actually on the sell-off. We didn't expect that to happen. The expectation, for example, from Richard and everybody else, we're expecting that with PulseChain launch, there were going to be more people coming in for the world's biggest airdrop, for the yield farming. I mean, it made logical sense, right? All these people would come and enjoy more features, so it should attract more people who are like waiting for the launch. Now, what I'm telling you, these friends, is I clearly remember people saying that, you remember these friends, you remember yourself. There was a lot of people said, bless their hearts, incorrectly, they said, there are guys with $1 and $10 million clips, they're waiting on the sidelines, and when PulseChain launches, they just want to see a finished product, and they're not allowed to enter the sacrifice. They had to wait. And when the launch comes, they're all going to come in, and the price is going to go moonshot. Didn't happen, okay? Buying the depression, selling the euphoria, friends. It doesn't say, oh, front run this big fund that you've heard a rumor that might buy $10 million worth, or front run this exchange. No. They're all humans. They all have the same fear and greed cycle. So when we're looking at this price chart, I was telling you this. I said, look, now remember, we're always back here. If we are to do our famous, let's say you want to do a 100x from the low. Let's say you wanted Hex to do 100x from the low, which is $1.80, which is actually all the way up here. If you wanted that to happen, we needed to see by the end of, say, 2024, Hex needed to be in that zone here. So it needed, instead of dropping down, it needed to actually be up here, okay? By the end of 2023, running into 2024. So we needed to have this price chart. And then we obviously zip around, and then we can actually try to make it there in the bull market on average, unless a big fat benevolent whale reprices us higher. You never know, but I don't want to like wait on this type of copium hopium dreams. There's something you just got an interesting thing about Johnny K. So shout out to Johnny. He used this example. He goes, well, look, yes, the big wallet buys, but they only buy super cheap, undervalued prices. And the example he used is like a used game store. They will see a used game. Maybe they think it's worth $30. All right. But it's selling for $3. So they'll buy it for $3 and they'll put it back for like $30. But they're not going to buy the used game for like $120. They're not going to pay a good price for it. A good, you know what I mean? And a good price means for you to sell and other suckers to buy, right? It's funny how it works. But that's basically what it is. It's buying, oh no, you're like way too dirt cheap. I'll accumulate that. But we don't really know. There's no expectations when it comes to this. But this was part of the plan anyway. We said, hey, look, there is a chance that the crowd is wrong. Most likely they are. And if Hex is not in these 19 to 20 cent zone, well, guess what? It is what it is. Like, as each time period passes us, the 10x is the dream, okay? But if you wanted the 100x, you needed to have done, say, a 10 from now, on average. Now, of course, things happen, but you never really know. I'm just trying to protect you when it comes to these. So there are many other coins that were able to break it, friends. For example, Solana. And I'll show you the Solana price right here. You put it on a regular chart. Look where Solana was. See how, friends? See, Solana recovered the May zone for itself. It came back to this March, April zone. That's exactly where it is right now. Doesn't mean it's going to scream, not really. But you know why I have this 140x versus 7x? Solana did a 7, Bonk did 140x. So getting leverage on the ecosystem is really advantageous for anybody who's able to do it. Luckily, you got a friend like me making lottery ticket videos. That's why we have 10% dedicated to lottery. Look at the upside is, man, 140x, while the SPI does 7x. So if you're a Solana maxi, which I know many people are, Bonk did 140x. Congratulations, while your Solana did 7. That's why I'm showing you, if PulseChain does like a 7x, are there meme coins that are going to do like another multiplier on that PulseChain? Yes, 140x is big. What if they do like a 4 multiplier on Pulse? So if Pulse does 7, they do 28. That's huge, man. Absolutely freaking enormous. Full lottery tickets everywhere. Now, not financial advice, but you're going to have to find cheap ones, and that's what we're trying to do, trying to find the sticky cult communities. Also, Mr. Secrawford, which is actually a very, very nice comment, friend, saying, I like Cheds, and to an extent, he's right. But you want to look for the laggards and not buy green candles. Yes, exactly. You don't want to be chasing like, oh, you recovered fast. So they're good for trading, by the way. So obviously Solana had this momentum push, or ChainLink had a momentum push. If you like trade those triangles, you trade on leverage, that's what they're there for. Because you know on average, okay, they zipped up fast. The chance of them having another zip for you to leverage increase your probability. But if you get the trade wrong, it sucks. You kind of like, you get stopped out. When it comes to investments, you're holding long term, you always want to buy low. You never ever want to be chasing any of this stuff. You already missed your chance if you want to participate in these, okay? And you already know the multiplier. Like Solana at $500, you basically got to be all out. That's another 5x from here. And that's super, super, super expensive. Solana at 5x basically almost flips Ethereum at today's price. I also want to make a special update too. SparkSwap is launched, friends. Now, I haven't used SparkSwap, but a lot of people, like shout out to Dane as well, SparkSwap have a bridge now to BNB. So a lot of you, for example, you're doing the Clip Finance IDO. I know it's frustrating. If you want to move any money out of PulseChain, you got to go to Ethereum, pay the fee, and then bridge from Ethereum to somewhere else. You don't need to do that now because we're still waiting, my friends. We're still early. It's still within like less than 1 year of PulseChain. These bridges and liquidity have to be built out. Now, I've seen it as well. You click on the side of SparkSwap, which is actually here. If you go here, I'm sure if you go on the left, friends, see trade, bridge. If you go to bridge, there should be something here where you're able to like basically just check out which side you want to move on. So obviously I'm using my dummy account here. And if you move, you move from like Pulse. I don't know which one it exactly works for. But if you're going to have a look at what the liquidity is providing right now, it's BNB. So you'd want to put at the network, the top. Okay, so from chain. So you put Pulse. Let's see where Pulse lets you go to, just to BNB, basically. Now, that's fine because BNB is cheap. And then if you go to BNB, you could use like synapseprotocol.com. This is what I use as another bridge. I made the links. It's also in the Clip Finance one. And that can go from BNB to anywhere. Arbitrum, Polygon, wherever else. Now, should you even be moving? Well, this is just for fundraising, man. It's not to participate in other projects, but you can do what you want. What if there's money out in other places? It's not going to tell you to stop. Like, if I find stuff, it's just that on average, a lot of these things, they're expensive and it's only AI coins moving and they're all on Ethereum pretty much. So that's just an alternative. At least you know. You basically will be using SparkSwap. The other ones, friends, there were ones working and they pulled them and the liquidity didn't work and then it was really thin. We're using PortalX swap, which you could still do, but apparently the bridge on that had like a 12% slippage on Pulse. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But just over time, these things basically get fixed as time goes on. Also found this pretty cool. So Marin, friends, you remember Marin was, I think she quit crypto at the bottom. She was the famous crypto astrologist. And if you just go to her channel here, I think she made like a rock song as well. So it says crypto astrology and just basically linking up stuff. Now, what's actually crazy is there's been ones where she's been like dead spot on. It's actually crazy. This moon stuff, man. You know, friends, I used to think when I was obviously, you go to uni, you learn everything. Yeah, moon cycles are the biggest hocus pocus. But then we all saw in 2022 Every time there was a full moon, we started dumping. Okay, that's strange. And then I saw Randy Hilarski, shout out to Randy, using the indicator. And he's like, oh yeah, full moon. And then I'm like, no way. Friends, I was speaking to family members, aunties and stuff. Used to work in hospitals. And they tell me, oh yeah, everyone knows full moon, you don't want to be a security guard and you don't want to be in emergency section at the hospital. Like, what? Full moon? My whole life I've been told it's random and it's all 50-50. It's all in your head. No, there's nothing to see. I've been told my whole life. I'm like, what? This is like an open secret. Yeah, everyone knows full moon. Everyone goes loopy. Okay, now no one even really knows why. But magnetic stuff, fields, all these other stuff we can't comprehend, don't worry about it. You want to know what's funny, friends? This is going to trip you out. You know JP Morgan, actually himself, the actual JP Morgan? I'm sure it was him over 100 years ago. I think there's a quote where he basically says like, it was either him or some other billionaire. I'm sure it's him. Yeah, they say like millionaires use technical analysis and stuff and fundamental analysis, whatever. But billionaires use astrology, right? And now when I read that the first time, I was like, oh, he's making a joke. No. As I get older, I'm like, oh, that's what I'm doing. That's what we're doing, friends. We're literally like looking at these like weird astrology stuff, like Jim Cramer's making a crypto episode and Bitcoin's $80,000. Like, what are you talking about, you cuckoo person? It's crazy, isn't it? It's absolutely crazy. Like, oh, 12 months after this date, we're going to top out. Yeah. If you can find the right one, you hit one home run, it works. But it's just that it takes a while to actually get in tune with the market. You have to be like one with it. You can't just go in and go, this thing works. It doesn't work like that. Look how dedicated we are, friends. Like, you really got to be able to see things. There's a lot of spooky stuff that goes out. There's a poker player as well, friends. This flipped me out. I was watching, I think, one of the Lex Friedman interviews. He interviewed some chick. She's basically a chess genius as well, maths genius. And she's speaking about, I think it was like Phil Ivey. I forgot, one of like the poker greats. And she basically said, in tournaments, based off how random it is, people have calculated that your win rate or something, if you are like meant to be the best in the world and you get perfect hands, like based off the average hands you're given in poker, right? On average, basically there's all these full maths models and like, okay, based on these numbers and these things, on average, what's a really good performer? How much should you be able to win? And it was something like one in every 200 tournaments, or one in every 100. I forgot what it was, but you imagine that. Let's say it's a 1%. But then Phil Ivey is like 16%. He's like who was an anomaly. Now, I don't know if it's him, whoever it is. Okay, some genius poker player, right? Now, obviously, I'm paraphrasing, messing it up a bit, but it was crazy. She basically goes, I don't want to talk about things, but it's spooky, almost like, do you create your own luck in that circumstance? Because this is meant to be impossible. Impossible. Playing at tournaments, people aren't telling you their hand. Is he reading stuff? Is something in his brain, he can't even interpret it. It's subconsciously, he's looking at other people, and you can feel on average which one on average he's meant to win or not to win. But the statistical anomaly, almost like cards that he's getting, you're not meant to get them that many times. Yet in tournaments, he is. All around the world, different tournaments. Of course, no cheating. Of course, how do you cheat, right? There's different countries, Russia, China, all the poker tournaments everywhere. So this type of weird, spooky stuff does happen. That's why I'm looking at this astrology, but you're probably wondering, are we going to pay $500 for an astrology session? No, we're not, friends, because I think she quit crypto in the bear market. I think she went on like big hiatus. She copped a lot of flack because she was FTX sponsor. So up only her basic friends, everyone was getting paid by FTX. Everyone. It was so tainted. That FTX thing was so brutal. It's probably one of the reasons we still don't have up only with Kobe. They're like, we're not doing it ever again. That was the one sponsorship they took, friends. They took one sponsorship. They don't even need it. Kobe's a billionaire. He's like, I think they'll pay him like 50 grand a month. And they gave it to Bankless, I think, as well. And then Ponzi. I wonder what's going to happen in this next bull market when there's a lot of money floating around. Because you're wondering, there's no money floating around now. There's PvP money and stuff, but no. When the retails hand in so much money and they want to get in anywhere, that gets dispersed out there. We haven't seen that yet. That's when it starts to get dangerous. By the way, you don't know what's happening. You just think the crypto growth is here. So no one's going to tell you, oh, it's too frothy. Because even if they did tell you, like me, you're not going to believe me anyway. You're going to say, no, it's not just getting started. My influencer said we still got a 15x to go. We still got a 30x to go. We've got 9 months to run of this, or another 12 months. This one's different. Okay. So save you $500 on reading. My astrology is HODL. We go up only. And just a friendly reminder, please don't join for trading groups, friends. So this is a video circulating. So this is Leia Haley-Poop. Why is she called Leia Haley-Poop? Because she blocked me. That's it. Because I called her out. Because she was a Bitcoin maxi. And then she got a following. And then a lot of simps followed her. Now she got like hundreds of thousands of followers. Simp. I was like, oh, please notice me. Please notice me. Like, Habib, when your name is like Rashveet, and you're like comment like number 487 doing the love heart emoji, bro. You know, all those minutes of the day compounding, you can do something great with your life instead of literally like simping in just random people's Twitters. Like there's no value for yourself. Okay, you are the value. You are the exit liquidity. Your view, your engagement, your comment. You are the product out there. What are you doing? Basically, just like simping for someone who's never going to give you attention. Now, start off as Bitcoin maxi. And then her popularity grew so much. Bitcoin Maxi fans, this is what happens. In Bitcoin Maxi, see Hex influencers and stuff, people say like, oh, Hex influencers, you are just farming for engagement. Like, look what happened in Bitcoin. She gained like 500,000 followers, Bitcoin Maxi styles, right? 500,000, huge, right? And then she ends up saying, well, I kind of like have these other coins too. And I was like, what? You own other coins? It's like, yeah, Ethereum and Solana and like Polkadot and stuff, yeah. And then it's actually moved even deeper now. Now there's a crypto trading group. Fans, this just looks so dodgy, right? It's kind of like, hey, here's a channel. If you join, all these things are wins. Now, fans, what they're doing is, I'll tell you, this is what happens, okay? It's grifting. But look, she doesn't even really know what's really going on, okay? But you probably think, oh, that's. I'm not making excuses for her, okay? But because it's her name's Haley Poop, but she doesn't really know what's going on. Or there's a kid, literally, there's a pimple faced kid. He's sitting in the back office. He has like an indicator, okay? He has like some indicator, and they're all 50-50. Doesn't matter which one it is. Oh, it's got an RSI combo with a MACD crossover, whatever it is, okay? He has it, and it's 50-50, and he just makes calls into a broker channel, and he probably works for a broker for some firm. Now he does it. And then that channel basically is just grabbing customers from her. And then they are feeding everyone the signals. People are paying and they're trading through. And they're like, oh, sweet, we get your commission. Friends, this has been going on. This is literally the beginning of trading itself. This is the beginning of trading services and technical analysis scamming and Forex scamming. This is literally day one scamming. This is what happens, okay? A kid sits in there. It's 50-50. Everybody thinks, oh, I want to trade and make money. So they come and they join these. And what they're doing is they're being used for their brokerage. Back and forth. The slippage and the brokerage, up and down, not everything's right. And then you find out when it's too late that it's 50-50. But guess what? They're always finding in new people. That's it. Because when people finally realize it's not working, it is what it is. Then they'll try to do the whole gaslighting thing. Oh, but this trade made money. This trade made money. It's the same thing, man. They don't work. You know how they don't work? Because you're all in crypto. You know they don't work. You know what works? Buying in early. That's what works. Buying in early to growth. Long-term holding. Okay, long-term, you want to be in early when the network is small. You want it to grow big. So you're going to see way more of these. This is just a start, man. She's nothing. There's going to be way more. There's going to be new faces, pretty faces. There's going to be people telling you, no, we can't lose and stuff. But now you get to see why as well. Richard Hart cops so much flack for his outrageous, we are designed to do 10,000x. And, all these price performance, best performance, price performance charts. People still today are here for Richard's 2021 and 2020 marketing narrative points. And that's why, obviously, the crushing happened when you drop more than FTT, more than Celsius, more than Luna, even with the airdrop, right? Even with PHEX and EHEX. That was the craziest part, friends. I still can't believe it. EHEX and PHEX were worth less than Luna and its Luna airdrop. That's how ridiculously low freaking we got. We're still around there, by the way. It's not like it's doing much great. We're only like 1 minute. Like, it shouldn't even be way this low at all. But that's why it leaves a sour taste in everybody's mouth. And now you have to recoup for the next bear market, for the next bull market. Maybe there'll be more streaming and stuff coming on. I wonder how it's going to change the price narratives. Because here's the thing. When you make everybody focus on that, we got the best price performance chart. What else could you need? It's tough because you want to tell people, think about him, okay? Think about if you're a leader. You want to tell people to basically eat their vegetables, but you have to trick them to tell them that the vegetables taste nice when they know it doesn't. They know donuts and jelly beans taste nice. They know broccoli tastes like ass to most people. Okay, I like broccoli, by the way. Shout out to all the broccoli lovers. But and baby carrots too, friends, and baby corn. Now, when he's talking to everyone, what's the context of crypto? The context of crypto is, he goes, real DeFi, PulseChain, PulseX, and X is real DeFi. We remove middlemen. Okay, we have all these good features and stuff here and there. And that's why, if you listen to in the Highest of Stakes movie, he says, people always wonder, like, why the... And he says this many in interviews. He goes, people always wonder, like, why is the hex price chart, why does it go up so much? Why does it have best game theory? He goes, because we removed all the middlemen. In the banks and stuff, there's all these people taking their fees left and right here and there. So it painted a picture that it will just do much better in, say, a bear market, whatever, because you can have no middlemen or lots of middlemen. Like, how do you explain that? Like, the thing with no middlemen went down worse than everything else, you know? Everyone just completely forgets how much it went up. But you know this, friends. I know the number one way to piss off anybody in the community is measure from the low to the bottom. Measure from the low. Go, hey, were you one of the 40 people who bought that low? Oh, no, you're part of... Because this is the actual real numbers here. The truth is, out of Hex, at the very, very top, there was 50,000, I think, 50 to 100,000 people that were in. And then by the bottom, there's like an extra 100, like 150,000. So basically, 30, but like 80,000 people just straight offside. And then the next are kind of like, you know, up between a 2x to break even-ish, right? And then just the very, very early 5,000 win. But this is the same in Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin has 219 million people. The top 20 million are doing all right. The bottom 180 million, you got nothing to show for it. Your 2x and 3x, that's what's 2x and 3x, man. You know what I mean? Like, that's, but they all think it's going to do another 30x. So everything is part of this game. Now, this is where you really got to think. Bitcoin has 219 million people in the network. If it adds another 219 million people extra, it only does a 4x in price with 219 million people. Okay. If Hex adds 1 million people, it'll do a 25x in price because it's 200,000 in right now. From 200,000 to a million is 5x. Use Metcalfe's law, 5 times 5 is 25x. So obviously we see it. That's why we're taking the risk. People are like, well, your network is 200,000. What if it disintegrates back to zero? That's the risk. That's the higher volatility part. But then I'm saying, okay, well, your risk in Bitcoin is you are round tripped in 6 years. You go, sweet, your Bitcoin network value, yeah, it's not going to go down to 2 million people. It's still going to be 219 million. But you're telling me it's going to be 2 billion people in a few years. That's what they're literally saying, that they're pricing in 2 billion people coming. What if your 219 million people is only 319 million people? Okay, that's where you have like an $80,000 Bitcoin. So, you know what it is, friends. I'm wearing an Ash Ketchum Pokemon hat. Like, subscribe, baby, and all. Catch you soon.